There it is. One of the new exercises is going to be a book cover that you will download. There it is. The book cover PSD file is what you need to have. I kept the book cover design really, really simple. Here's what it looks like. We'll open it up in Photoshop. And you can see in the layers kind of how it's built. So I've got the picture of the person as the background. I've got the title of it grouped together in a folder. And I've got the byline on its own little area. Each one of these words is its own separate layer. So there's the, of, the, art, and book. Each one is its own little thing. What I want to do is I want to take these white letters and tell the publisher this is where I want to put the spot varnish to it. Also check out what I have under this group. It's got a little drop shadow to it as well, so I need to be able to get rid of that. Here's how we're going to do it. If you're working in Photoshop or Illustrator, you need to make a copy of all of your text that you have, just the title of it. Doesn't have to be the byline if you don't want it to, but a copy needs to be made and it needs to be converted to just black letters. That's all that you want on it. Make sense? Oh, cool. Okay. So in Photoshop, what I've done is I'm going to select my group, in this case the title, and we'll drag it down to the new layer, and that'll make a copy of the new title layer. Got it already done. I don't want to see any of my drop shadow, so I'm also going to turn off my layer effects. This is what it looks like right now. So all I've got is just my white letters. Next thing, really simple, grab your type tool, select all of them, and change the color of it to black. The reason why you're using black is because when you make a printing plate, whatever is black is where the ink is going to go. So if it was white and you put it on a white background, it's not going to show up. When we start doing screen printing, you'll actually see that happen. Ooh, by the way, if you're in AIGA, I sent everybody an email. I know we're doing screen printing on the quad during homecoming. We're going to screen print little hand fans and give them out to everybody. So if you want to make your own fan and participate in screen printing, if you're in AIGA, I've asked you to submit a design if you want your design to be printed. I've gotten one good one. I've got a couple of other ones that I'm waiting to be updated as well. Okay, back to what we're doing. But I've turned all of this solid black, and I'm going to go ahead and make this a smart object layer. What does a smart object do?
Maintains its editability.
Maintains editability and saves it as a copy. In this case, I'm going to get rid of the group of it, and it's going to be just one solid layer. So if I was to select it, convert it to a smart object, now it's its own layer. I'm going to call this layer spot varnish. If I turned on all of my layers again, this is what it looks like. Now, I don't need this to print. I just need it to be available for the printer when they go to set up the spot varnish. So I'm actually going to turn off the visibility and resave my file now. File, save. Boom. Here's the fun part. Here's the magic trick. In InDesign, you're going to make a new document, and that document size was 10 by 6, which is an odd size for a book cover, but don't judge. Say okay. And we'll get rid of our paragraph styles. And I'm going to place my photograph of the cover inside of a picture frame inside of here. When I drop it in, let's see, there's my book cover. Say open, and it's placed inside of there. Nothing wrong with that. To do the spot varnish, it needs to be on its own layer, okay? All by itself. So this is what I would send to the CMYK printer. I'm going to open up my layers panel. So we'll call this the cover design. Make a new layer. On top of it, this is going to be my spot varnish layer.
So almost like you're double.
Bingo, exactly, bingo. You're putting it on there twice.
Okay.
Here's the magic trick part of it. I'm even going to turn off visibility so you can, well, we'll turn it off. So I'm working just in this layer, okay? I'm not going to worry about the cover design for now. Do the same thing. We're going to drop it in. So get a rectangle. Command D, drop it in. This time, when I choose my book cover, I'm going to open up the import options. Normally, by default, this is not selected, but when this is selected, you get these kind of options to show up. Image, the color and how it deals with the color profile, and the layers. Aha! I can tell it to import just a specific layer. In our case, we want just the spot varnish layer to be visible, and I can turn off all of the other layers. Pretty cool? So when I say OK, places it in there, and it places it exactly where I want the varnish to be. So if I turn it back on, it should look like this. This is what I want you to save and upload to Moodle. When you're all done, you can save it as an InDesign file. If you make it as a PDF, let's do a high quality print. You don't have to do this as a PDF, I just wanted to show you the options for it. Do make sure that all of your layers are saved up. Yeah, export all the visible and printable layers. Visible layers, all layers. If it doesn't have the visible layers and you turned off your spot varnish, it's not going to save that layer. When I send this to the printer, I'll say, hey, it's got a special layer, it's a spot varnish layer. They'll know how to set up the press appropriately for that one. Cool? For your design, for however you do yours, if you're in Illustrator, you need to copy your title of your text, place it on its own layer by itself, paste it exactly in the same spot. Now if you're in InDesign, it's a little bit easier. Just copy whatever text box that you have for your title, paste it in its own layer by itself that way as well. Cool? And of course you can follow this Photoshop method to do this one. When this is done, I'll have a place on Moodle. You can upload it and continue working on your book covers. The next class period, at the beginning of class, we will not have any time to work on your designs. Mr. Todd Lake from University Press, he is a book designer. He does everything from cover design to inside layouts. He's going to be coming and talking to you about your designs. And I've also invited him to look at your designs and see how you do layouts and stuff like that. This time last year, they had an opening for a job position. His boss retired, he got promoted, so if you ever want to do book layout and book design, there's a place in Jackson, middle of Jackson, that does worldwide printing of these kinds of books, and they do a lot of it as well. Cool? And he's going to be here next class period for you guys to meet. Rest of this time is up to you to be able to work.